Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to talk to you about characteristics, internal and external traits. We've talked about them before in class, and we talked about them when we were thinking about ourselves and our own identity. We used ourselves as an example. So when we were thinking about internal traits or what's inside of us, it's like a personality. So are you funny? Are you kind? Are you considerate? Are you thoughtful? External traits are something on the outside of you, so things that you can really see with your eyes, or things that you can touch with your hands. I have black hair, or I have brown skin, is something that you can see with your eyes. That is on the exterior, the outside. Internal, inside, is something that you really can't see. So if I'm kind, how do you know? What's the evidence? And so we thought about that using ourselves as an example. But today I'm going to teach you how to use that when you're reading a book, and how to think about the characteristic traits of a character that you're reading. Today I'm going to use the book Big Brother. It's a small book that always reminds me of my own childhood, me and my sister. So let's read it, and I'll use Big Brother as my character that I will map out. Okay, Big Brother by Charlotte Zolotow. Pictures by Mary Chalmers, I think. Once there was a little sister and a big brother who teased her. He pretended to put tacks in her bed, and she cried. But he didn't put tacks at all in her bed. He pretended to eat her candy. And she cried, but he didn't eat her candy at all. He pretended he thought she had 3 eyes, and she cried. But he didn't think she had 3 eyes at all. He pretended to break an egg in her hair. And she cried. But he didn't break an egg in her hair at all. He pretended to pick all the flowers in her part of the garden. And she cried. But he didn't pick any flowers at all. One day, the little girl was busy. She was coloring a picture of the moon and the stars and a bird at night. Her brother pretended to lock her in her room, but she looked up and saw he hadn't locked her in her room at all. So she didn't cry. He pretended to throw her doll out the window, but she watched and saw he didn't really throw her doll out at all. So she didn't cry. He pretended to call a rattlesnake to bite her, but she didn't see any rattlesnake, so she didn't cry, and she finished coloring her picture. What are you doing? Her brother asked. I have just finished making the night with stars and a bird, she said. Do you want to look? He wanted to look. I'll make the night too, he said. I used up all the black crayons, said the little sister. But you could make day with the light blue and yellow for the sun. So he sat down on the floor next to his sister, and they both colored all afternoon. Before they knew it, it was dark, and they had lemon meringue pie for dinner. So I really like this book for a few reasons, and we're actually going to use this again next week when we talk about Oh, retelling. But today we're going to think about characters. Now, I thought about either doing the big brother or I can do the little sister. They're both kind of the main characters. I wouldn't say there's really a main or secondary because they're pretty much in every scene together. So I'm thinking of using the big brother. And what I'm thinking about is on the inside is where I'll put maybe one or two character traits. And I'll just tell you how I know. What's the evidence from the text? How do I know from here? And then on the outside, I'll put things that I can see, the external. So here, I'll write down external. Sometimes you just write the word or the letter E, that's fine. Maybe I'll put like E here. Maybe I'll put an I here. Internal traits here. And I'll put a line here just showing, so I don't have space. Internal, inside. And there we go. So you don't have to do this at home, but you can. But this is just going to help me have a visual of thinking about the internal and external traits of my character. Well, I'm going to start with external because they're a little bit easier for me. So if I want to think about what my character looks like, I'm just going to go back and actually use the book. It's a little bit easier for me to see because it's right here with me. Let's see. Okay, so for starters, for me, I can say that the little boy is wearing a blue shirt in pretty much in every page. So an external characteristic is that he wears blue shirts. So I'll write blue shirt. If I had crayons or something, maybe I can just draw a shirt and then color it in blue. That's up to you. And I'm going to think one more external trait about the big brother. Oh, he's I think he has like blonde hair, like light color hair, because it's not very dark. Not very dark. Or maybe light skin, like white skin. I'll do that. So maybe like light skin. So I'll find another, I can do it over here or over here. I'll do it over here because I have space. So light skin. Now, I know this because I can see it. I can see it in the illustrations of my book. That's the evidence that I have. When I'm thinking about going into internal traits, what's on the inside, their personality or the kind of friend or brother that he might be, I'm going to go into my book to find how do I know? Where's the evidence? So for me, he's somebody who's, I don't know if he's a bully to his little sister. I think he's just trying to have fun with her and he's just not doing it in the best way. I think he's somebody I'd call a teaser. He likes to tease. So he's somebody who likes to tease his little sister. I'm gonna call him a teaser today. So I'll write teaser. And then, how do I know? Well, I know because when I read in here, he pretended to put things in her bed, have a rattlesnake to bite her, throw her doll out the window. He was trying to make her cry. So he's kind of like trying to empty her bucket. He's like an unbucket filler or a bucket unfiller. Something else about him is I think at the end of the book, even though he's not my favorite character because of how he treats her, at the end he starts to realize that he could be nice to her and he likes what she's doing. So I think he's a bit reflective. I think he's kind of thinking about his actions and maybe he wants to get along with his sister because he wants to do the art at the end. So I'm going to put reflector. He likes to reflect. And that's on the inside too. How do I know? Well, at the end, he stopped teasing her and said, hey, what are you doing? And he decided to think about her interests and her happiness and decided, hey, that sounds like something I might want to join in and do too. So here I am today thinking about a character I have in my book and thinking about their external, the exterior, this is your all exterior, the exterior, outside character traits, what you can see with your eyes, and then the interior, or the internal traits, the inside, things you can't see really, the personality. And how do you know? Well, I used examples from my book to tell me. Today, when you're doing your own work, feel free to use a chart like this or any of the charts that I supplied for you on Seesaw to help you keep track of a character in your book or maybe other members of your family. You can practice on internal and external traits from them, and maybe they can help you figure out what are some of your internal traits that you may not know you have. Anyway, hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and I'll see you soon. Enjoy, and off you pop!